everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we'd do a 2-page Peter Rabbit scrapbook layout. The paper that I'm using today is actually digital paper that I found on Etsy. I'll put the information on the description down below in case anybody's interested. So today I have printed all my papers. My paper does measure 11.5 by 11.5, and I'll go ahead and bag that on a piece of 12 by 12 craft cardstock paper. I have inked on my edges today with my Stampin' Up! Early Espresso. And I'll tape it down with my ATG. And for my next page, I actually already have it ready. For my first piece, it does measure 11.5 by 4.5. Go ahead and bring it down here. For my next piece, actually, it's the digital paper with carrots. It's so cute. It does measure 11.5 by 2 7/8. And this will be like my garden down here. I do have a piece of brown cardstock paper. It does measure 11.5 by 1 inch. For my border piece, it does measure 11.5 by 3/4. For my fence, I do have 2 pieces. It does measure 5 3/4 by 1 3/8. Go ahead and bring it over here. And now the clip art that I'm using today, it's from the same digital paper. It all came in a package together. Everything has been, it's all a print and cut. I really like this digital paper. It's giving me like a vintage feel to it. It's really nice, and it actually printed out really well. For this, I'll use my zip dry. I do have 3 photo mats. They do measure 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and on my silhouette I did 2 internal offsets. For my title, this is actually the only thing that has been pieced together because everything else is a print and cut. For my title, it does read Me a Story. And this is part of my storybook series. It does measure 7 inches by 5/8. And I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the Peter Rabbit book. It's actually a really old book that I've been putting on YouTube for my kids. It's a really it's a really nice YouTube clip. It's about 5-7 minutes long, and my kids really like it. It's this I think she's British. I'm not sure. She does have an accent. Reading the old story of Peter Rabbit and his adventure when he went to Mr. McGregor's garden when his mother told him not to. Because of the incident that happened with his father, and Peter still going to the garden and trying to eat as much as he can. So in the digital clip from Etsy, it actually came with the mini story. So here is the beginning when the mother is telling the kids, you know, she's going to do her stuff at the house. Do your own thing. Peter, do not go to the Mr. McGregor's garden. Go ahead and put it over here. When Peter runs off to do his own little thing. Peter enjoying the vegetables on Mr. McGregor's garden. And then after the trouble he gets at the garden and then his adventure finally heading home, I do have the mother and the little girls eating their great meal that the mom made. And if you know the story how it ends, Peter didn't get any food because he had an upset stomach after eating so much. Now for the circled ones, they do measure 4.5 by 4.5. And this one over here, it does measure 3 1/4 by 5 inches. Next, from Treasure Box's line, I do have my chair. My chair does measure 3 1/4 by 4 inches. It is popped up on one thickness of foam tape. For my fireplace, I'm not sure if this comes from Miss Kate Cuttables or Treasure Box Designs. I'll figure it out and put it on the description down below. My fireplace does measure 3.5 by 3 1/8. For these, I'm not really sure what they are, but they came with the package. They do measure 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and I'll go ahead and bring it over here. I do have a watering can. It does measure 2 3/8 by 1 7/8, and it is popped up on one thickness of foam tape. Next, I do have a flower pot. It does measure 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. And it is also popped up on one thickness of foam tape. I forget what this is called. It does measure 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. I'll go ahead and bring it over here. I do have my carrots. They do measure 1 5/8 by 7/8. They are puffed up on one thickness of foam tape. One I'll go ahead and put here and the other one over here. I have one little piece of carrot. It does measure 1 3/4 by 1/2 inch. Go ahead and bring it over here. I have a little piece of lettuce. It does measure 3/4 by 3/4. I have a little piece of radish. It does measure 1 5/8 by 7/8. And they all have, all the vegetables have wing castella. And lastly, I do have my onions. They do measure 1 1/4 by 3/4. And I actually had so much fun doing this layout. This was something different that I'm used to doing, and I really liked it. And the fireplace, I did add wing castella and stickles to the fire. And there you have it. This is my 2-page Peter Rabbit scrapbook layout. If you enjoyed the video and like to give me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it as well. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.